Let's take a look at the useless old dinosaur Bitcoin. This is the daily chart for Bitcoin, and the data I have is 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on December the 5th. So Bitcoin crapped out on us yesterday. Dropped all the way to below 42,000. Very much broke out from the support of this upward channel. So since Bitcoin dropped to about 30,000 and began this bullish reversal, it's very much traded within this upward channel and trend up, then establishes all-time high at 68,000. Now officially this upward channel is no longer in play. So does it mean that it is hopeless for Bitcoin right now? The answer is definitely no. There are a couple ways that Bitcoin can continue this uptrend. One way is for Bitcoin to be able to find enough buying support and then cross over. This now is a resistance trend line. The minute it can cross over that, this becomes the support trend line. Then Bitcoin can re-enter the upward channel and continue this sort of like uptrend. The second thing is when Bitcoin dropped down, even though it dropped down below 42,000, but the low here is still higher than this prior low. Connect a line from this prior low to this low, we have this upward trend line. So even though Bitcoin right now is trading at 48.6, assuming if the price continue to retrace, as long as it can find support at this trend line and stabilize over that, and then continue to trend up, this is another way for it to continue this uptrend. So Bitcoin is definitely facing a lot of near-term challenges, but it is not hopeless. So first thing first, let's focus on what Bitcoin would likely perform within the next few days. This is the 15-minute charts. What I like to do is look at how the price behaved over the past 5 days. But before we do that, Bitcoin went on this very nice bull run, topped out at around 68,000, and after that we saw the price started to retrace. At one point it dropped all the way down to about 53,000. After Bitcoin dropped to about 53,000, found temporary support. As you can see, every time when it retests the 53,000, buyers step in, price bounce up, retested again, bounced up, and ended up close higher at around 58,000. So that was a good sign. The following day, the price traded sideways, and around the middle of the day, buyer pushed the price up. Bitcoin attempted to run up and retest this prior high at 59,000. Get rejected. Retrace, try again, get rejected again, and ended up close the day lower. That was not a good sign. Then the following day, Bitcoin stabilized, bounced up, and tried to retest this prior high again. Got rejected. So as you can see, 3 times it attempted to cross over this 59,000. All get rejected. After that, the price retraced and again closed the day lower. Normally, when you have a closing price that is lower than the opening price, that is an indication that there's a very high probability that the downtrend would continue. And that's precisely what happened. Yesterday, Bitcoin started the day traded sideways, tried to bounce up, get rejected. Then retest this prior low at 53, briefly dropped below, but momentarily found support, bounce up, but there was a lot more selling pressure. The price retraced, dropped below the 53,000. And then after that, even this prior resistance at 50.5 did not hold support. Then we have this breakdown, completely breakdown. Price dropped all the way down to below 42,000. Found bottom, bounced up, ran to about 48.5, then retraced down to 46, bounced up again. It's ran up to about 48.5, retraced to about 48,000, found support and trying to retest the 50,000 level. Let me zoom in because this is really the key here. Now, as you can see, it ran up to about 48.5, retraced, found support right at this 46,000, bounced up, ran up to about 48.5, retrace, found support at 48,000, bounce up and try to test this 50,000 level. Every time when it tried that, it get rejected. Consolidate, retest it again, get rejected. So for 4 straight time, it tried to cross over the 50,000 and got rejected every time. Then seller very much took over. They drove the price down. Bitcoin dropped below this prior support at 48.5. Dropped down to 48. Temporarily find support at 48. So what we're seeing here is very much a tug of war. Buyer is trying to push the price up. Seller is trying to push the price down. The line in the sand is definitely right at that 50,000. And Bitcoin temporarily found support at this prior low, which is the 48,000. It is rebounding. So there's a very high probability that it would continue and eventually sometime later on today would run up and then retest this 50,000 again. Here's the key. If Bitcoin can gather enough buying support and cross over this 50,000, stabilize over that, then the price recovery would likely continue. The next major resistance would be at around the 53,000. A rejection at the 50,000, then there's a very high probability that the price would break down. And the 48.5 may not be able to hold support. The same thing with the 48,000. Then there's a very high probability that we could see Bitcoin trading at 46,000. Looking at the volume continues to be a big problem. When Bitcoin dropped, we see this massive increase in sales volume. But the minute Bitcoin bounced up, the buy volume continued to be low. As you can see, the green bars are definitely lower than this red bar. One would think that if there are buyers waiting in line, the minute they see the price retrace, now the price is in this bargain basement price, we would expect to see the buyer jump in and massively push the price up. Then we would see this significant increase in the buy volume. But that is not the case. And that is one of the main reasons why Bitcoin was not able to cross over the 50,000. Because if you look at the buy volume here, there's definitely no buying support. And when you have low volume, it's really hard to push the price over this major resistance. And then for the last 3 hours, when Bitcoin started to retrace, we see that the sell volume definitely increased. That is not a good sign. So based on what I see here, there is a very high probability that we will not see Bitcoin trade over the 50,000 within the next couple of days. There is a very high probability that Bitcoin would even likely retest definitely the 48,000 and potentially the 46,000 before it could bounce up. I hate to say this, but as long as the buy volume is low, Bitcoin continues to struggle. And I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that later on today, Bitcoin somehow would get some sort of news and buyer would step in, push the price up. It needs to be able to trade over 50,000 and then run up, test this major resistance at 53,000 and cross over that to prevent, like I said yesterday, a possibility of this head and shoulder pattern. We'll revisit Bitcoin tomorrow. That's it for this video, and don't forget to click that like button and reward me with a like if you appreciate the content that I'm presenting. Also, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button and subscribe, and make sure you turn notification on. And if you have Twitter, make sure you follow me at Vietmaxim, because I provide constant update on all of our favorite cryptos.